Sorry that I'm not able to be in class today and present this, but I've been having a few stomach bugs this last week. I think it's better if I stay home. Nonetheless, I did my research project on Hannah Wilke, who is known as one of the pioneers of the feminist art movement, and a lot of her work is still shown today. She is a multimedia artist, therefore she uses textiles and sculptures and photographs, and she uses all different types of forms of art to convey her message. Before I can talk about Hannah Wilke's work, I need to address what the feminist art movement is, and also later on I need to talk about conceptual art, the conceptual art movement. First, the feminist art movement emerged in the 60s, like late 60s, early 70s. This was the same time the second wave of feminism was hitting, and women were fighting for their role in society. In the art world, this included trying to fight for the equality and opportunities that women were not getting at the time, but their male counterparts were. They did not allow many women to exhibit their art or to show off their work. They were basically disregarded, and women artists had to create their own space. They were fighting to have that space, not just be this one place where they can show their work. They wanted to be able to showcase and get their work out to everyone. It also challenged the idea of the male gaze, which obviously the male gaze is just that a form of art is used for the male audience, used to sorry, it was made by sorry again, it was made for the male audience rather than all audience. It was made for male viewing. This is something that they wanted to change because a lot of the time the male view was centered around women and their nudity and their bodies. And with that, they wanted to change the objectification and sexualizing and just like putting women up on a shelf as if they were decor. They wanted to change that and be able to show that our bodies aren't just for looking at. Our bodies aren't something that you just get to stare at and also still make like judgments on. It's not a taboo. It's women nudity is not just for your sexual pleasure. Women nudity is just that. It's just the body. And of course it's not just about nudity, it's about just the female body in general. The conceptual art movement also emerged around that same time, and it basically, as title suggests, is just the movement of which expanded the idea of what could be considered art. So rather than thinking about the technical and traditional ways of judging art, the conceptual art movement moved to consider like the symbolism of a piece rather than just like having the meaning be outright in the picture. They wanted the meaning to be the main focus rather than what the picture is or how the picture was taken or like is the picture aesthetically pleasing. They wanted to use it in such a manner that allowed for an expansion of what is seen as art rather than just like this is an art piece. The meaning of it you can see clearly. They wanted it to be more so like important, the meaning to be more so important than the look of it. A lot of Hannah Wilke's art had Volvo influences. So like this Strider lint, and you'll see many other different images. These were constructed to look like vulvas and show many different types of vaginas and vulvas and basically just showing that it's you see it every day like you can see it in anything. Same thing with these gestural sculptures. These are just one fold ceramic pieces that she made that were vulva shaped. Like I don't. Yep. This is the SOS Starification object series that she had, where she put uh, pieces of vulval uh, pieces all over her body. Normally it had like 28 photographs, but at the bottom there you can see chewed up gum that she shaped into vulvas. The fun part about that is while she was performing it, like at the exhibition, she actually had guests of the exhibition that were going to look at it, chew it up, and give it back to her. And that's how she made those, just so that it's like more involvement. It also wanted to just it wanted to challenge the idea that women were viewed as merely like for decoration and just for attraction, and it allowed for um, it allowed for her to showcase that not only the women body are just normal and natural, but that it's not anything to hide. It's a normal thing in everyday life. This is Pink Champagne. One of the first images that show up is of her standing behind this. Standing in front of this and showcasing all the different folds. Again, vulval shaped, showing that there's many different folds that go on. Yeah. Again, there's just vulval shaped ceramic pieces on cutlery. She liked to put these sculptures in like everyday life. So here is just her just challenging the idea that everything needs to be hidden and stored away. This is Marxism and Art. Beware fascist feminism. This is actually also a part of her certification, but it was in reference to the critics that claimed that her like feminist art would ruin art, and she just was making fun of their argument because what makes you think that showing off a woman's body in a similar fashion that has been going on for centuries now, but now that it has a different intention, it's now bad, you know? She also went for more of a like commentary with I Object Memoirs of a Sugar Giver. Um, I couldn't actually find much on this one, so the way I interpret it is that, well, first look at it, first time I looked at it, I saw it as like she said no because the I object in the name, and she was still sexually assaulted, and this is the aftermath of her. You can see that there's genes, and it's just like, in my mind, it was a comment on how society views sexual assaults and blames it on the woman or the person being assaulted. This is a portrait of the artist with her mother, Selma Butter. Her mom was a very important part in her life, and this picture showcased the strength that her mom had and how she wanted to use that strength as well. Um, in this case, her mom had breast cancer and was struggling for it, and she had to get a misdirect. Sorry about that. I meant mastectomy because of her breast cancer. Um, she wanted to show that she's still strong and yet she's still beautiful, and how much her mother truly meant to her. And you can see that she also did similar thing in breastplate, though they're not technically connected. They, yeah, she still had her mother in mind when creating this picture, but she still wanted to showcase the like empowerment of nudity and how the nude body is just that. It's just natural. Handle with Care is a thermometer with a photograph of Hannah herself with birds. At this point, I believe she had gotten her diagnosis of lymphoma in her life, and this was the beginning of reflection upon that. But we really see this reflection of her diagnosis in Intravenous, which is her last series that was meant to reflect on her illness and her feelings behind it. First one is Brushstrokes, number 6, which was Hannah using her own hair in her artwork. She was losing it, so she felt like she still wanted some control of her life. So she made this series, and even though she was going through this illness and this sickness, this cancer, she wanted to still showcase that her body is still her body. It's still natural. It's still something that isn't just to be looked at, but something meaningful and just that she is who she is. She used this to reflect on the idea of beauty, and she wanted her audience to do the same. So again, intravenous number one, this is showcasing her body while going through the treatment and showing all the different changes and still yet being able to be beautiful and just not caring, you know. Intravenous 4, she showcased her hair loss and still yet she's content and happy with her body as seen in the picture on the right. This is her thinning hair, again intravenous 6. Yep. Sadly, even through all the treatment and the the treatments for battling with her cancer, she still passed from those complications. And I would say she never got to fully show the world all of her, everything she could do. After her death, she was still viewed as a powerful influence in the art world, and specifically in feminist art. She helped women feel liberated in their own body and like showing their skin and just feeling welcomed. She still has pieces up in MoMA, Tate, Metropolitan Museum of Art. She's still in so many different like permanent collections. Throughout her career, she won many awards, and deservingly, she's still one of the faces of feminine art and the feminist art movement today. I don't know if I can ask questions because I'm not there, but if you do have any questions, please email me and I'll email you right back with the answer. But that is the end. I hope you enjoyed. Again, sorry I couldn't be there.